We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. There was a nation living in peace and unity. Yeah. There are people with love and harmony. Oh, yeah. They saw greatness rise up to its purity. With another people of different culture, a different heritage, bias and oppressive. Oh, I see. A nation from trigger of Africa, rising with strength and might and power. In due time, nobody gonna oppress us. Rather, you all gonna embrace her. With your flag, with your flag, with your flag, with your flag. Oh, yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. Oh yeah, Biafra is our home. Oh, it's my home. Yeah. Biafra is our home.
I reminisce way back 1967. Death toll and the blood couldn't count them even. Mama screaming, child squealing, pops on the ground. 2.5 years, over 3 million's gone. Why? Cause we asked for our freedom, and we're going back to our sovereign kingdom. They shut us down when we cried, the world said nothing. Sitting back in the crib, watching our suffering. Should I talk about the planes dropping shells like rain? Suka had the first taste of a hero's blood. Abagana Zobuni wave was stronger than flood, but the juke is too strong and fought them off on the chart. Thought the bloodshed's gone, then it came again. 216 and the massacre, it started again. So bloody name, I couldn't cry tears. Blood dripping down my eyes, water in my veins. We died trying to fight the cause and we're trying to break him. It's our freedom, but the world was against us.
Wave your flag over Africa. Welcome people of Biafra. Wave your flag over all the world. See those people of Zion is here.
It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion. It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. Yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. I see the rising sun from Africa. Oh, this is time of victory. Oh, yeah. I see future in Africa. Oh yeah, people of Biafra. See light shining on the world. Oh yeah.
What's that, Martin? We're not fighting each other. We know where we're going. We're going to get Biafra. There is nothing anybody can do about it. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. I need them to understand this. We've crossed the Rubicon, the point of no return. There is nothing anybody can do. If I'm alive, if I'm dead, if I'm wherever I may be, Biafra will come. If I'm dead, it's even better because it will come far more quicker. I can assure you. If Biafra is fighting for you, no one will touch your property. If you're fighting alone, you're bound to lose it. So Biafra is the best. We will become the 16th member country of ECOWAS. If Nigeria doesn't release those properties, then we'll take them to court and we'll get them back. Even twice the value. The Jews had investments all over the world. Most of the priceless artifacts and paintings belong to many families in Germany. It was stolen by the Nazi Party. Do you know that? Eventually they got everything back with compensation on top of it. That's what we're going to do. If you touch our investments, we'll come back for you. And we'll know where we can get it from. So there is nothing for anyone to worry about. It's only if I'm not stopping you from being a Nigerian, if you are born on the streets of Lagos and you want to be a Lagosian and your name is Adama, oh, well and good. There's no problem.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this very evening program. I appreciate every one of you that has connected wherever you're connecting from. Please like and share the program to family and friends. Share the program to everyone that is close to you. This is our evening section of the program, and I'm not going to take much of your time. You know, our evening program is always brief. So we're going to try to do it as we always do. Remember, in this platform, we don't come here to instigate violence. We don't preach hate. We do not attack people or individuals. We don't come here for any propaganda or blackmail. All we do is to present informations. And when I say information, I mean critical informations that has to do with our struggle. We present it to the Biafran people to see, to make sure that our people are informed. We make sure that you're being carried along in everything that is happening, and we will never stop. When it comes to the Biafran struggle, we will do everything humanly possible to see that this legacy that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Mazi Simon Ekpa left for us will be kept. So we have come this evening again. Remember, today is Monday. Monday is a special day. You and I know. It's a special day for us in this agitation. You can pretend about it, you can lie about it, but if you are genuine, even if you are not genuine, every Monday you will remember Biafra. Every Monday you remember Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Every Monday you remember Mazi Simon Ekpa. No matter how they try to pretend, when it is Monday, everybody will come back to their senses. So wherever you are watching this program from, whichever angle you are following up from, I urge you as you join to like and share the program. Kindly like and share the program. Make sure you invite somebody to join us on this program. Very important. Invite your family and friends. Make sure you bring at least one person to this program, because information is power. Information is key. We must continue to speak, no matter how difficult it is. So this evening, we are going to go straight into the point and deliver the message that we are about to deliver. As always, this evening topic, it says, expose the political propaganda against Nnamdi Kanu, Simon Ekpa, and Biafra movement. The political propaganda against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, against our Prime Minister Mazi Simon Ekpa, and against the Biafra movement. It has now become so much that we cannot afford to continue to ignore it. The political propaganda have increased to the highest level, and we cannot afford to ignore it. Not now, not ever. It is time for us to be speaking more. Wherever you are watching from, when you go to social media and see what is happening, don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. Do not be discouraged. This is what happens when they are fighting for their life. The struggle for the restoration of Biafra have reached the elastic limit. When you look at the way the saboteurs, the enemies of Biafra are fighting today, you will know that they are very, very desperate. They know that there is nothing that will stop Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from coming out. They know that there is nothing that will stop Mazi Simon from coming out. So all they need to do is to do as much damage as they can. They want to do as much damage as they can to the personality of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, to the personality of Mazi Simon Ekpa, and see if they can achieve anything. But I bet you, the more they try, the more they fail. Because this project that we have embarked on is not an individual project. It's not a project by human. It's a project that belongs to Chukwu Abiyama. Only him and him alone decide to choose those who he's going to work with. And he has chosen me. He has chosen you that is there. Don't give up. Freedom doesn't come easy. It comes with a lot of responsibility. The freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu can only come through pressure. Likewise, the freedom of Mazi Simon Ekpa will only come through pressure. The freedom will not come by begging or what a lawyer is saying in the court. Anybody that is telling you that the lawyers will free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or that, or you blame the lawyers for not freeing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you are not being truthful to yourself. It's either you are ignorant or you're not being truthful to yourself. If you come to blame the lawyers of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for his continued detention, you're a fool. You are deceiving yourself. These lawyers have done excellently well. Remember, they have won the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Nigeria in 3 courts, and the government refuses. You don't bring somebody out of the government hand. A political prisoner, you don't bring them out of the court. You don't bring them through the court. You bring them out through pressure. When you mount pressure at a particular point in time, the government will not have any choice than to grant your wish. This was why Mazi Simon Ekpa refused to back down on Monday sit at home. Do you know how many $1 billion the Nigerian government lost because of sit at home? Do you know the money that Nigerian government lost because of sit at home? They were crying. When you see the governors fighting, if you see what Soludo was doing, going house by house to drag people out, you will understand that it is not a joke. The sit at home wasn't a joke. It was more than effective. And that is why the memory was there. And I thank Chukwu that many Biafrans, up to today, they are still observing it. Many markets are still shut down in Biafra land. Many businesses are still closed on Monday. A sacred day for our supreme leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And when you remember that Monday, you are remembering Mazi Simon Ekpa. Don't forget. Today, the case of Mazi Simon Ekpa. Remember, we have gotten information on these little changes that was made in the case of Mazi Simon Ekpa and the new steps that we're taking. Mazi Simon Ekpa fought for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, fought until the day he was removed from the picture, he was fighting. He never stopped fighting. Mazi Simon Ekpa was fighting from day one until the day he was taken away. Throughout the time Mazi Simon Ekpa was there, if you can tell the truth, don't lie to yourself. Throughout that time, Nigerian government was on their toe crying. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was literally rested. There was no pressure on him the way it is today. There was no pressure on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Nigeria did not even have the courage to sentence Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They didn't have the courage until they removed Mazi Simon Ekpa from the picture with false evidence, with false fabricated accusations. And Finland fell into that trap because of their own selfish interest. Because of their selfish interest. Because of resources. They fell into that trap. And they sacrificed their innocent citizen who has been in their country for more than 2 decades, never committed any crime. And all of a sudden you admit an information from a terrorist country that you don't even respect their documents, but because it has to do with Biafra, it has to do with your selfish interest, you recognize false information that was given to you to prosecute an innocent citizen, and you refuse to admit his own evidence. The prosecutor in Finland refused to admit any evidence from Mazi Nnamdi, and you call that justice? You call that justice? That is injustice to the highest level. The injustice that was meted on Mazi Nnamdi was so much, and that is why we say never again. That is why Biafrans are rallying around to make sure that Mazi Nnamdi is properly represented this time. So wherever you are, go and support the legal fee of Mazi Nnamdi, the international lawyer from the United States. Support the legal fee. Go and make your contributions. Go to the link. You are not paying to me. You are not paying to me. Go to that link. A link established for that fee. Go there and make your contribution. It is very important. Go and make a contribution. And as we proceed, there is a very important update on the case of Mazi Nnamdi. There are some slight changes, and we would like to look into those slight changes so that people who are preparing to go to Finland will know how to prepare. I know that Biafrans are preparing to go to Finland. Many Biafrans are getting ready. So if you are getting ready to go to Finland, you must pay attention to this video because it is important. Very, very important. Mazi Simon Ekpa case is coming up on the 5th August. 5th of August. The case of Mazi Simon Ekpa is coming up on the 5th of August. And remember that our Prime Minister have requested that every one of us need to be present on the court on that day. Our Prime Minister has requested that we should be present. So it is important we highlight that very matter so that everybody, wherever you are, as long as you can be able to make it to Finland, don't wait. Make sure you are in Finland. The case of Mazi Nnamdi is coming up August. This is the peak of information, and I want you to pay attention. Very important, so that you can prepare properly. And make sure you go and support that legal fee because it is important. For those of you who are blackmailing it, you say the lawyer is not going to be in the court. Pressure is required. The Finland lawyer can do little or nothing. It is the same lawyer who was there when they refused to admit evidence from Mazi Nnamdi for no reason. There was no justifying reason they gave. There was no justifying reason they gave. They did not admit the evidence from Mazi Nnamdi, and they went ahead and gave him 6 years. Because he did not have a proper representation. There was nobody to speak his voice. This time, we must have an international observer. You can call that lawyer an international observer. Somebody who will observe what is happening, put pressure. Already he has started his work. He has written to the Foreign Affairs Minister of Finland. He's going to write to the United Nations. He's going to write to EU. And he's going to consult with the United States of America. When these superior people put pressure on Finland, they will be forced to grant Mazi Nnamdi's rights in the court. Because not admitting the evidence he has against Nigeria is abuse of his right. Not admitting evidence provided by Mazi Nnamdi is abuse of his rights. We cannot allow that abuse to continue. That is why it is necessary to go and support the legal fare for Mazi Simon Ekpa release. That international law is needed. You that you believe in what he did, his work and his performance. If you don't believe in it, it's okay. But if you claim you are working with Mazi Ekpa, you don't have any plan to make sure that Mazi Ekpa is properly represented. If you don't have any plan and you are fighting against the plan that is already on the ground, God have mercy on you. You are nothing, you are not better than the saboteurs that are attacking Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We know that there are people attacking Mazi Simon Ekpa indirectly, people under him attacking him indirectly. And we cannot keep silent. That is why we are calling and advocating that everybody should buy. This is the update. Prime Minister Simon Ekpa, August Appeal Court information. These are the information. The case will be held in Lahti, Finland. Look at it. It will be in Lahti. So if you're buying your ticket, book your ticket to Lahti. Book your ticket to Lahti. That is where the case is going to be held. Then the court is going to be from 5th to 21st of August. From 5th to 21st of August. That's when the court is going to hold. From 5th to 21st of August. Then within that time, there will be protests. The Biafran people will be protesting in Finland. Biafrans will protest in Finland. The protest is going to be held on the 4th, on the 5th, on the 6th, and on the 7th. 4 days. Biafrans are required to be present. Mazi Simon Ekpa did the same for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He made sure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is properly represented. Why can't we do the same for him? Mazi Simon Ekpa made sure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is adequately represented. So why wouldn't we do the same thing to him? This is the latest information. And I want every one of us to key in into this information. Key in into this information, this update. It is very important. Prime Minister Simon Ekpa appeal case will happen in Lahti. Please, all for one and one for all. Together we stand. Biafra. Happy Sunday. The date remained the same from 5th to 21st. Demonstration on 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. There will be protests. 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. You must prepare yourself. And this information is coming from one of our sisters, Sister Dominica Gochi Olewunne. Sister Dominica Gochi Olewunne, she was the one that brought out this information. As the source of this information you are hearing, and it's confirmed and accurate. Until justice speak, we stand unshaken, in loyalty, unbroken, in purpose. So put this in your calendar, write it down in your calendar. 5th to 21st, protest from 4th to 7th. So you have to arrive before 4th. Arrive Finland before 4th of August. The process will keep up 4th. Then after the protest on the 5th, you go for the hearing of the court. After the court section, there will be a protest again. 6th, there will be a protest. 7th, there will be a protest. These protests have a role to play. When we talk about putting pressure and action, this is things that we need to do. Let us do everything that we are required to do. Let us do our own part. Everything that is required of us to do. Then, the remaining, let it be in the hand of Chukwu Gabian. And I bet you there will be a change. Remember, the city is Lahti, Finland. If you are buying your ticket, buy your ticket now so that it will be more cheaper. Lahti, Finland. The case starts from 5th to 21st of August and protests 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. This is the update for Prime Minister Simon Ekpa August appeal information. Put it on your calendar. Most importantly, support that legal fair. Support that legal. Make sure you support. Make sure you support. We cannot afford to have stories again in the case of our Prime Minister. We can't afford to. We can't accept any stories anymore. Let's take it that the one that happened before took us by surprise. Not anymore. Not again. We will not allow it again to happen. So wherever you are, I urge you in the name of Chukwu Guardian to support. Support the best way you can, no matter how little. It is not too small. Make inquiries, go online. Maybe the flyers have been shared. You will see the link. Just click the link. No matter the small amount you have, drop it. Support it. If you cannot support financially, support morally. If you cannot support morally, support prayerfully. Pray for our Prime Minister. Give a support and make sure he's properly represented. The same way Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is being Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has every single legal steps is being taken for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. There are thousands, many lawyers who are ready to work for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu pro bono. If we can even get, if any group can provide another international lawyer, it's okay. But you don't fold your hand without doing anything and you are condemning people that are doing something. That is what I don't understand. If we can have 3-4 international lawyers, it's okay. There's nothing bad with it. But you don't have any plan. I have not seen you putting any plan, and you are condemning what others are doing. I don't understand. Who are you working for? This is why people attitude became suspicious, and we begin to wonder, where do they belong? Because if you cannot support this, and you don't have a template of what you are doing, because Mazi Simon Ekpa needs proper representation. Mazi Simon Ekpa fought very hard. He fought earnestly to see that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu got adequate represented in the court. He made sure, to an extent, he took charge of the legal expenses of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Simon Ekpa announced it on air that we are going to take charge of the legal expenses of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and he did. Up to feeding, he announced feeding that the Biafra will take charge of the feeding. So why can't we do the same for him? Why can't we do the same? Somebody that conducted a self-referendum that more than 50 million people gave him a vote. So why wouldn't he be properly represented in the case? Why can't we get lawyers, team of lawyers, international lawyers, not even one? You're not having any plan. You don't have any, but the one that others brought, instead of you to support it, you are attacking it. I don't understand. I don't understand. The sole purpose of doing it is to free Mazi Simon Ekpa. The only project that we have today, the only genuine project among people that are under Mazi Simon Ekpa directly, the only project that is meaningful today, that is sensible, is how to represent Mazi Simon Ekpa effectively on the 5th of August. Any other thing you are doing is a distraction. I don't care the group you belong. I don't care where you are. Whichever group. When you go to your group meeting, ask your leaders. I don't belong in all those your meetings. When you go to anyone you belong, when you go there, ask your leaders, what is our plan to make sure that Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoku is properly represented? If they tell you they are doing something, tell them to spell it out. Let them tell you what they are doing. If they tell you they are doing something behind the closed door, it is a lie. Go and support those who are doing something you can see. At least we have seen one lawyer outstanding that was brought out. And the group is doing wonderfully well. The lawyer have already written. They have already written letters, sent the letters to Finland already. That pressure is required. That pressure. That is what is required to free Mazi Simon Ekpa. Just like the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You think the lawyers will free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? The only thing that will free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from the life sentence is pressure. Pressure. You don't release people from government out of pity. You don't take people away from government by begging. You don't release people from government by sleeping. You release people from government, set people free from government by pressure. When I say pressure, I mean pressure. Pressure they cannot stand. In the case of Finland, international pressure is needed. Pressure from strong organizations. When their foreign affairs minister is summoned, when their foreign affairs minister is summoned, United Nations is summoning them. EU is reminding them of their human rights abuse. And the United States, that we know, the strongest nation in the world, policing the world today, is also into it and speaking. There is no way they will release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Because you and I know he has no case. A country of particular concern cannot have a case against an innocent citizen and it flies. No. The fact on the ground today is that Nigeria is worse today than it was when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was around. That is the fact, the truth. Nigeria today is worse than the way it was when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was around. So the question is, what went wrong? The only thing that went wrong is that you removed somebody who was adequately protecting his own people. And what do you expect? Wherever you are watching this program from, I urge you to do the needful. Do what you know you can do. Give the utmost support you can do. Share this very broadcast. It is very important so that others can get this information. Going to Finland to support Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is mandatory for all Biafrans, except you have a serious thing that's going to hold you down. If you have your documents and you can, please buy your ticket on time so it will be more cheaper. Lati, the information is there. Lati, Finland. 5th of August, the case will start until 21st. But from 4th, we have a protest in Finland. We have protests on the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. 4 days protest. This is pressure. You see, people already have a solid plan, but you are in a group where they don't have any plan and they don't support the plan that intelligent people are making. You don't have any plan on your own and you cannot support the plan people are making. You are evil. That's simple. So those of you that are in one mushroom group or the other, ask your group leaders, what plan are they making to see that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is properly represented? Proper representation comes through pressure. You pressure the government to do the right thing. In the side of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, we are doing very well on that side. Pressure is mounting. In the side of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, we need to increase the pressure. We don't need to go to sleep. And I pray that Chukwu Kukabia will direct us, lead us, and teach us the right path to go. Nigeria is in a big mess, and more tragedy is happening in Nigeria as we speak. A lot is going wrong, has gone wrong, and will continue to go wrong in Nigeria. And we will continue to expose them. The only thing that is going to save the Zoological Republic is to let the Biafran people go. If they don't let us go, Nigeria will be worse than Somalia, just like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said. Already, Nigeria is even worse than Somalia now. Nigeria is already worse than Somalia, and they will never survive until they let Biafrans go. We will continue to say what we have to say. We will continue to do what we have to do. And we will never allow anybody to deceive us. We will not allow anyone to distract us. No matter what the enemies are doing, no matter their propaganda, their blackmail, their confusion, we must not allow it. Wherever you are as a Biafran, prepare yourself for what is coming. No matter the danger you see, prepare yourself. All is not well. A lot is happening. And as always, we are going to go into the media space. Let us see, because sometimes you will see the atrocities of the zoo in their own media. We don't go too far to search for information. The evil of the zoo is with them in their own media. That is where you see their evil. So this evening, we are going to go to their media, as always, the way we do in the evening time, for you to see what is happening in the Zoological Republic in their own media, so that you can confirm when we say Nigeria is irredeemable. It is not just, we are not saying it out of hatred. We are saying it because it is a fact. It is a truth that nobody can run away from. So I want you to pay attention to this very news that is coming from Nigeria, so that you can know what is going on in this Zoological Republic. Let us listen and hear what they have to say.
And viewers from across the globe, today is May 18th. Trump shares a haunting video from Nigeria. Buildings are collapsing in Abuja. Trains are colliding in Bangkok. Manchester City made history at Wembley. Genevieve Nnaji just became a global icon at Cannes. And in Akwa Ibom, a 5-day hospital crisis left patients dead. Let's dive right in. I'm Oji Okwe, and this is what's trending. Now, before we dive in, let's talk about the music that got the world dancing this weekend. The official FIFA World Cup 2026 anthem is here. Shakira's Die Die, featuring Burna Boy, was released on Friday, May 15th, and it's already breaking the internet. Let's take a look.
Follow your desire. When there's a will, there's a way. And you don't drop that fire. No one can take it away.
When I'm about to write your story, that is how you pave the way. You're about to reach your glory, only one step away.
All the highs and lows, all the tears and the pain.
You've been there through it all, just do it again.
Hips don't lie, Shakira and Burna Boy. Africa representing on the world's biggest stage. Now join the conversations on social media and Leke. Use the hashtag What's Trending with OG or comment on the live feed. Tell me, are you feeling die? Is Burna Boy carrying this one? And what story has you talking this morning? Because for the next hour, we're going into everything that has Nigeria and the rest of the world buzzing. Now, before we dive in, let's take you around the world, from mass graves in Nigeria to red carpets in France. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe.
Nothing today. No, okay. Is there any motion? United Nations, I know you're watching me. American Senate, you are watching what I'm doing. I'm saying here. Special advisor to Trump. Now, please tell Trump to save our life in Nigeria.
Nigerians are reacting to a haunting new video shared by President Donald Trump showing Nigerian pastor Reverend Ezekiel Dachimo standing in a mass grave pleading for help against Christian massacres in Plateau State. The post comes hours after Trump announced U.S. Nigerian forces killed ISIS's second-in-command, Abu Bilal al-Minuki. 5 people are dead, 12 injured after a 3-story building collapsed in Abuja. Rescue operations are ongoing, and questions are already being asked about building regulations and enforcement. In Bangkok, at least 8 people killed, 25 injured after a train collision triggered a massive fire that engulfed a public bus. The footage is devastating. And Manchester City are the undisputed kings of Wembley. A spectacular 1-0 victory over Chelsea secured their 8th FA Cup trophy over the weekend. History was made.
Bernardo Silva together will lift the 2026 FA Cup aloft.
At the 79th Cannes Film Festival, Nigeria's own Genevieve Nnaji made her historic debut as a global honoree. But the moment that has everyone talking, John Travolta breaking down in tears after receiving a surprise Palme d'Or. The legendary star had no idea it was coming. Congratulations to John Travolta. Now, to our special feature this morning. It's a story that shook Nigeria's medical community and exposed dangerous cracks in how Nigeria's institutions operate. 5 days, one hospital.
Zoological
A
Republic.
catastrophic breakdown that left patients dead.
This is a hospital.
This morning, we bring you a special report on 5 days that brought a hospital to its knees, a state to a standstill, and patients to their graves. What happened at the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital wasn't just a clash between federal agencies. It was a catastrophic breakdown where fighting corruption collided with saving lives, and ordinary Nigerians paid the ultimate price.
Imagine.
The morning of Tuesday, May 12th, EFCC operatives walked into the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital to verify a medical report. By afternoon, tear gas had been deployed. Inside a hospital, within days, doctors across Akwa Ibom State had staged a walkout. And by the time the crisis ended, patients who needed surgery, dialysis, emergency care were already dead. This report will examine how it happened, how a routine document verification escalated into tear gas, a statewide medical strike, and a 5-day crisis that exposed dangerous cracks in how Nigeria's institutions communicate. The central question: how did verifying a document cost lives?
Zoom.
To understand what happened at the teaching hospital, you need to hear both sides of the story. Because what the hospital says happened and what the EFCC says happened are two completely different narratives, and somewhere between those two versions, a crisis was born.
The EFCC personnel came into my office and they introduced himself. He went out of my office barely 2 minutes after. He came in again, but this time around with another personnel holding gun. And he told me that I was under arrest. I asked him why. I was not the one that issued the medical report. My name is not on the medical report. The report was not issued from my unit. And I'm not a criminal, I'm not a suspect. And the organization did not address the letter to me. So why am I under arrest? He said, when you get to office, you will say all that. They started pushing me, they dragged me out of the office. And when they dragged me out of the office to the walkway, I started crying. I could not tell the hospital, my colleagues in the hospital that came, that these are EFCC personnel, because they had said I should not talk. They were holding gun. I saw many masked and armed men came violently, broke the protector, and threatened the people that were around, and people ran away, and they beat some staff that were still by me, and they dragged me and the other staff, 5 of us, into their van.
Professor Ekpe says what happened next felt like an invasion. He contacted the medical director, Professor M.M. Bassi, who became alarmed by what he was hearing and immediately called the police, reporting that unidentified armed men had entered the hospital. But the EFCC tells a completely different story, according to their official statement. This was a routine visit, not a raid. Their operatives introduced themselves, needed a medical report for court the next day, and had sent 2 letters without a response. When Professor Ekpe said the document wasn't ready, they asked him to come to their office. That was when the chief medical director, Professor M.M. Bassi, was contacted. Well, according to the EFCC, Professor Bassi ordered staff to lock the gates, trapping their operatives inside, then called police claiming unidentified gunmen had invaded. The EFCC says the Commissioner of Police in Uyo confirmed EFCC's presence and advised the CMD to open the gates. He refused. And according to the EFCC, what turned a routine visit into chaos was being locked in and attacked by hostile hospital staff, forcing them to call reinforcements. But here is what's not in dispute. Tear gas was deployed inside a hospital where vulnerable patients, asthmatics, ICU patients, people on ventilators were struggling to survive. Under the Geneva Convention, civilian hospitals are strictly protected. Even during armed conflicts, they cannot be attacked, destroyed, or have their operations disrupted. This immunity is only lost if a hospital is actively used to commit harmful acts and only after clear warning. This wasn't a war zone. This was a teaching hospital in Uyo, and tear gas was used inside.
Imagine.
While the EFCC and hospital debated who was right, patients were caught in the crossfire. Within hours, the Nigerian Medical Association called an indefinite strike across Akwa Ibom State. Doctors walked out.
When other people came in, they tried to video how they were moving.
This is crazy.
They cocked their guns and
absolutely crazy.
Promised to shoot them if they don't. They collected their phones, and in the process, and hit some of them with gun. I mean, quite a number of people were assaulted, including female doctors. We had to immediately call our members, our Congress, and resume our strike because we have a standing order. Once there's assault on our member, we have to go on strike.
The Nigerian Medical Association didn't just strike, they filed a billion naira lawsuit, calling it a show of shame. For 5 days, the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital was shut down.
This is a hospital.
When the EFCC personnel came in, and when they came in, they didn't come as government officials. They covered their face like a kind of Boko Haram, and
that is their level. That's what they do.
With force, and they pick one of the doctor at the theater.
Just imagine.
So when they pick the doctor at the theater,
when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu called them zoological republic, people would think he's saying too much.
It was very bad. So the man was very out of operating somebody.
Even in war, you don't use such force in hospital.
So it was there that they pick other doctors that was on duty. That's what.
While the EFCC and the hospital argued about who locked whom in, patients who needed surgery died. Patients who needed dialysis suffered. Families lost loved ones. That's the cost of institutional breakdown. By Friday, May 15th, the crisis had reached breaking point. The Akwa Ibom state government stepped in. EFCC representatives, the hospital management, the Nigerian Medical Association, DSS, the Nigerian police, all warring parties converged for an emergency meeting at the government house in Uyo.
Please, I beg of you, please, for the sake on the lives of the people of Akwa Ibom State. Those who will not be able to go to private clinic, those who are already there, like he said, pregnant women never might start today and will make CS to save life, save the mother, save the child, and no doctor. Please, we beg of you, let the strike be called of freedom. The governor said I should appeal to you, make a statement, lest the workers return back to work tomorrow.
The Akwa Ibom State government's intervention brought a stunning reversal. The EFCC, an agency that rarely apologizes, backed down.
I've been given the permission to say on behalf of EFCC, we're very, very sorry for the errors.
In a formal statement, the agency admitted it was deeply embarrassed by the incident and tendered an apology to Professor Eyo Ekpe and the management of the teaching hospital. The professor accepted, and the Nigerian Medical Association suspended the strike. This morning, the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital is open. Doctors are back in the wards, patients are being treated, and the crisis is over. But the patients who died waiting for surgery are not coming back.
Imagine.
The families who lost
This
loved
is
ones
madness.
while doctors
Absolute
were on
madness.
strike are still grieving. The lesson is written in the lives we lost. You can't fight corruption by endangering the sick.
That is
You
what
can't
they
save
do in
lives
Nigeria. That is
while
what your
not
country
in
does.
conflict with people fighting corruption.
That's what your country
Both
does.
sides need to learn, because the next time the EFCC needs to verify a document, the next time a hospital feels threatened, the next time institutions collide, it cannot cost lives. All right, we just watched that report. 5 days tear gas in a hospital, patients dead, and an apology that has come too late because people have died. Good morning, Dr. Abati. Good morning, Vivai. Good morning, Rufi on fire. You weren't here on Friday when we premiered the story. I mean, we actually said that we're going to do a special report on this incident. Your thoughts on everything that unraveled? It is good that the EFCC has apologized, but I believe it came.
Okay, last week there were two versions of the story. We saw, one of the medical personnel in that hospital reporting that, people have been brutalized. A cardiothoracic surgeon, one of the very few in the country, have been arrested and all of that. And, lives were affected, families of the patients were distressed. Now, first, to establish this, a hospital is a place of healing. That's why it's called hospice. It's a place where people get succor. For such a location to be turned into a battleground for whatever reason, for a tear gas zone, it's not acceptable. You cannot justify that in any way. But the EFCC then issued a statement signed by Dele Oyiwale, the spokesperson for the EFCC, saying that whatever happened there was just a merely administrative exercise to authenticate a document, a medical certificate that had been issued, and that nobody was arrested and no arrests were carried out. But of course, the public naturally became very concerned about whatever may have transpired there. And so I think it's a good development that the state government intervened in a meeting of all the stakeholders involved, including the JOHESU members, sector unions, that went on strike in response. That a meeting was called at the ESCO chambers of the Akwa Ibom State government in Uyo, and all the stakeholders that were there, the Nigerian Medical Association, the teaching hospital staff, the JOHESU union, the state government, all of them, and the EFCC and other security agencies met, and we saw that video. And some of the resolutions at that meeting, the key part of it was the representatives of the EFCC apologize that whatever happened was unfortunate and that was not deliberate, and that they were promising that that would not happen again. 2, all the stakeholders at that meeting agreed to embrace dialogue. 3, the state government also agreed that it would wade into the matter and make sure that those persons, whoever may have doctored a medical certificate or issued a false certificate, will be investigated and brought to justice. 4, the EFCC also said that they had already launched an investigation into the matter to determine what exactly happened. And other stakeholders said, well, whatever the outcome of that investigation should be made public and shared with other stakeholders in the spirit of transparency. 5, a joint committee, was also set up at that meeting to monitor the outcome, the implementation of the resolutions at that meeting. 6, the USU unions that had gone on strike then decided that they will call off the strike, on the basis of which, the teaching hospital has now returned to a full operation. But at the end of the day, the people who will bear the brunt of all this, what we call the clash of institutions, will be the families of persons who lost their lives, those who were affected by the tear gas that dominated that moment of crisis. And the least that we can say is that these precautions should be taken to make sure that this kind of situation does not occur again.
Absolutely.
Because when we measure institutional conflict or disruption of processes in a place of healing, you measure it in terms of the effects on those who were directly affected by this. So on all sides, whether stakeholders or the state government or EFCC, there are lessons that can be extracted from the experience, and we hope that those lessons will be properly learned.
All right, Rufai, you had a quick comment.
Okay, I have a quick comment. I think the strike is not over because I'm getting a message from MDCN of UUT. They had another emergency meeting yesterday evening where they reviewed the strike and said they were going to continue. That after extensive deliberation, they noted that the EFCC offered verbal apology, but observed with deep reluctance of the EFCC to tender an unreserved written apology and publish same in national dailies over the unfortunate invasion of UUT HH Hospital. So I think this matter.
Sorry, where is this coming from?
I got this from an intel, from the University Teaching Hospital, which I got it from one of their consultants here, and this was an emergency meeting held. Communication emergency joint meeting of MADCAN, the UTT and ARD held on Sunday, 17th May 2026.
All right.
So that's a new update as regards the matter.
Well, they had this meeting too on Sunday. They were all there.
As regards my comment on this audio, please, I want them to still go to court and take the EFCC to task.
That one plea on that?
It's not today EFCC has been doing it. They will never stop because of this. Until we teach EFCC a lesson. They do it to personal individuals, like all of us. So it's not today, it's their modus operandi. Until we take them to task, they should not collect that apology from the EFCC. Not today.
All right.
Not today. The lives that I've lost. So an apology will bring back people.
Like I said, apology that came too late. Then I will continue on the conversation.
Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria, that's the MD-CAN.
Well, all right. We're going to continue on this conversation, like I said. But first, what do you think? Should the EFCC have used tear gas? Was the hospital wrong to lock them in? Who's accountable for the patients who died? Join the conversation. Use the hashtag, What's Trending with OG. We're reading your comments. We'll go on a short break now. When we come back, What's Trending will continue. To our gallant Nigerian armed forces and the US team for the precision strike. Thank you, Tinubu and Trump, for this partnership. More of this strategy, please. Let's finish them off completely. And I agree with that tweet. Well, Ishak wrote, this reads like a diplomatic victory note. But on the ground in the north, people are still being killed daily. So it's hard to call it an achievement when insecurity remains widespread. At this point, anything less than the complete dismantling of terrorist networks is just noise. half measures, and press statements change nothing. It's either decisive, total disruption of these groups, or we keep counting innocent lives lost. In the meantime, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has confirmed Al-Munirki's killing. In a post on X, the president described the attack as a prime example of effective collaboration in the fight against terrorism. Tinubu commended the personnel involved in both sides for their professionalism and courage, saying that he looks forward to more decisive strikes against all terrorist enclaves across the nation. Well, this particular terrorist had been under U.S. sanctions since 2023, with the U.S. State Department at the time describing him as a senior leader who provided operational guidance and funding around the world. The killing comes just days after the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, met with U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, the acting National Security Advisor, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and other senior officials earlier this month. Last November, Ribadu met with U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. Weeks after that meeting, the U.S. launched its Christmas Day strikes targeting ISIS in Nigeria. Now, Vimbai, could it be a coincidence that these attacks coincide with Ribadu's meetings? Is he really on ground doing the Lord's work by helping us eliminate these animals, like one of the ex-user stated?
Well, that's a very complex question to ask, I have to say, because each of these announcements have emanated from the United States, which, when you look at international relations, protocol is everything. So what it tells us when the United States is ahead of us in making these announcements, and also they've just announced AFRICOM also struck last night in northeast Nigeria. So there were more airstrikes after what happened on Friday night. But when the United States is leading in the communication, then you start to ask who's really in control of the dynamic. Nevertheless, we see this action that has been taken. I think the elimination of this number 2 ISIS leader, as he's reported to be, is extremely significant, not just locally, but globally. However, the debates that continue to happen are vast. One of the major debates is that, well, does taking out the head of organizations such as this actually have an impact on on disseminating the terrorist groups? For example, studies have looked at the outcome of taking out an Osama bin Laden, for example, and what that really has done. We also know that some of these Africans are now being promoted to higher up in the terrorist hierarchy because their counterparts in Syria and in the Middle East are being taken out. So it goes to show you that these organizations have become very resilient, and taking out one figurehead doesn't necessarily have a direct impact to what happens on the ground. But let's hope that this situation is different. Over the weekend, we still saw some young people being abducted from Borno. We still saw policemen and soldiers being killed in Yobe State as well. So we continue to ask ourselves, and then of course there's a conflict of narrative, because on the first instance, the United States says at Donald Trump's direction, President Tinubu said that it's a joint operation. Meanwhile, the United States says it's a joint operation. Tinubu says that it's a joint operation, but the Major General who speaks on behalf of the Army media, DHQ's media, is saying that it was a Nigeria-only operation, that there were no American boots on ground, and America's contribution was ISR. Now, the New York Times over the weekend did an extensive report about their own account, according to U.S. officials, which says that there were about 24 commandos, both from Nigeria and the United States. So again, there's some sort of conflicting narratives. And in the morning, I'd say, is this relevant? This is relevant because we see the expansion of terrorism is largely due to the failure of the states to be able to win hearts and minds. If you look at the history of Al-Munirki, do you know how he started? He was a barber. He was a barber in Borno State who was indoctrinated and grew and rose in the ranks of these terrorist organizations. So it also takes me to the article that was written by Major General retired Famedewa, who's now the Special Advisor for Homeland Security, who says that our problem in Nigeria is that we're not defining security correctly. Security can't just be military hardware. It must be development. So there must be a strategy beyond these attacks, these military attacks. We wait to see the outcome because after the Christmas Day attack, we saw an upsurge in violence. We saw an upsurge in attacks. So we still wait to see what these American boots on the ground are really going to produce for the everyday reality of the Nigerian. Because for now, we're kind of seeing a lot more PR stunts that benefit the Americans more than we're seeing tangible results on the ground here in Nigeria.
Yeah, but I'm happy that this young barber, I don't know if you saw his picture. He looks like a baby-faced assassin. My producer is saying the picture that we have may not have been confirmed, but he looked so young, and it just goes to show that these sort of situations that our people in the north find themselves, you can never tell who is who. Yes, and that's where I'm going at this point, at this moment. Well, more on insecurity in Oyo State. Communities are living in absolute fear and panic after terrorists launched coordinated attacks on 3 separate schools in Orire local government area, abducting over 45 students, teachers, and killing an assistant headmaster. The attacks took place on Friday, with residents saying the terrorists arrived on motorcycles, shooting sporadically as they barged into communities around 9 a.m. In a video circulating on social media, one of the abducted principals spoke from captivity. Let's take a look.
I am making this video to ask for help from everyone, starting from the federal government of Nigeria and the Oyo State government, Engineer Seyi Makinde, the Christian Association of Nigeria, and all well-meaning Nigerians, that they should come to our help and settle this thing peacefully so that our lives will not be lost. Thank you very much.
This is so sad. I cannot imagine if, a family member of mine is out there. I mean, this is really coming closer home. And Oyo State Governor and 2027 presidential aspirant Seyi Makinde held a press briefing on Sunday confirming that 7 teachers were abducted and that 1 has been killed by the abductors. He added that the state government is intensifying efforts to rescue the remaining victims. Meanwhile, the Nigerian police force on Saturday confirmed the tragic killing of 17 police officers in training at a military facility in Gubja, local government area of Yobe State. According to the forces statement, the attack happened on the 8th of May at the Nigerian Army Special Forces School, where officers were going through specialized counter-terrorism training. Terrorists attacked the facility at around 1 in the morning, hitting students from multiple directions in various series of coordinated attacks. And of course, this has, triggered a reaction also from Peter Obi. If you can take Peter Obi's post on X, he wrote, "Every security personnel killed is a tragedy to our nation. Every fallen officer represents a family thrown into grief, children left without parents, and communities robbed of those sworn to protect them. A nation cannot continue to normalize the killing of its security personnel and innocent citizens without urgent, decisive, and strategic action. We must confront insecurity with sincerity, professionality, and the political will necessary to protect lives and restore public confidence." Rufai, the Inspector General of Police, Tinji Disu, described the officers as brave, assuring their families that their sacrifice wouldn't be forgotten. 17 officers killed during this counter-terrorism training by the very terrorists they are fighting. May their souls rest in peace. These Nigerians were out there, our officers were out there to protect us, and they just died needless.
At first, I'd like to pay tribute to them.
Yes.
I pay tribute to their families. I hope that their service to this nation will never be forgotten. But also the sad reality is that we will forget their service. You know why? Because we are a nation that do not care about our officers. You know why I said so? Because I go back again to General Musa's situation. When Nigeria as a country had a chance to save him, they didn't save him. So we will forget in a hurry. And before you know it, the families of these ones will quickly be pushed out of the police barracks. They will have to rigmarole to get their pension and insurance. And they will have to suffer for this because we're a country that doesn't care about the plight of the people. This is the same country where the kind of food our soldiers were eating, somebody reported it and the person is doing a case today. Our soldiers are being paid 3,000 naira for daily feeding ration, and nobody cares about them. The politicians are just concerned of how they can feed fat and how they can manipulate primary results so that they can get into political position. And that's a sad reality. Except we start to care, things will continue. It's just like those kidnapped. Oji, when we started this administration, if we ever thought that Kwara or Yo will now be a cesspit for kidnapping and atrocities by this criminal
I never see anything.
you will never believe it. But it has come up to us.
Oh.
Today, most parts of the north, most parts of the southwest being inundated with crisis. And we've not been able to fight it back because we lack the political will. And that's just it, pure and simple. These people are in bushes. Why can't we get them out? Where's the recce? Where's the reconnaissance? Where are all the money to say we are investing in the military and investing in the security architecture? Anyway, if you look at the budget last year, they said the military only got about 7% for equipment.
That is it. Just may their soul rest in peace. That's all they say.
The only offense is
Nothing more. Nothing.
they wanted to impact knowledge.
They will not rescue them. They will not stop the terrorism.
We're going to
Nothing.
call on the Nigerian authorities, please do what is right. Get them out as much as possible. We must not hear about any death. But
Talk.
anyway,
Only talk.
it has died already.
After today,
And
you won't talk about it
Nigeria
again.
now. We're now so desensitized to these killings that we move on so quickly like it's never happened. So it's a precarious state we're living in. And it's a continuous state of trauma and disaster. And our leaders are not doing anything about it. Yes, we're celebrating killing a second-in-command terrorist. The same celebration that was punctuated by controversy of was he killed 2 years ago or afterwards. That's the kind of
So many unconfirmed reports on that. You're absolutely right, Rufai. But we'll continue to, highlight these stories. Please bring our children out of the forest at this moment. Bring them back home. Now to politics. Social media was abuzz with reactions over the weekend as results from the All Progressives Congress House of
The terrorism in Nigeria will never end. Just when you think it has ended, you will see the one that is heavier. Nigeria is not a place that any sensible person would like to be. When we continue to speak about what is happening in Nigeria, some people will think that maybe because we are asking for Biafra, that's what we are saying. But the evidence of the decay of Nigeria is on the media. That is why I show them. There is nothing to learn here. Just to show the world that whatever we are saying and what we are doing, it is the truth and nothing but the truth. That is all what it's about. That is why I play their videos. To show the world that we are not just coming here to talk because we are Biafrans, because we are pained, because we are grieved. No. Every single complaint we the Biafrans are laying are factual. There are evidence. There are evidence, numerous evidence regarding every single thing we say. It's a shame. But what are we going to do? We'll keep on watching them. We'll keep on listening. We'll keep on following them. And we will keep on calling for our freedom. There is no going back. No going, not today, not tomorrow. And for those who think Nigeria, even if the Peter Obi becomes the president tomorrow, it is going to be worse. Then they will that is when they will enter Biafra land. If Peter Obi entered Asorok, that is when they will have a free ride in Biafra land. Look at the drug baron. He's there. They have taken Kwara. Kwara is gone. Now they enter Oyo. Now they enter Oyo. And nothing is being done. Look at the innocent woman in the bush, begging. In their own bush, they can't see them. But if it is in Biafra land, jet will be flying everywhere. They are looking for Liberation Army. Bunch of idiots. Let's continue to show their disgrace We will continue to show them to the world. We will continue to show the world their madness, their idiocy, their disgrace. We will show the disgrace to the world to see. Mad people everywhere. Let's listen to this one and hear what
who's a lawyer and public affairs commentator. We're also joined virtually by Yakubu Ali Umaru, who is coordinator, Middle Belt Generation Next, Borno State, social and political commentator. Well, he will tell us since he's from Borno State, and he'll tell us the state of things right now. First-hand information from Borno State. Virtually also, we're joined by Frank Egnoshu. He's an author and public affairs commentator. And right here in the studio, we also have Lawal Ekundayo, who's a social and political analyst. Gentlemen, good morning to you all. Welcome to the conversation. Let me start off with you, Mr. Darlington, and good morning. Yes, there's been the news of the killing of Bilal Al-Nuki. Now, some say, yes, there was a report of him being killed in 2024, but we've come to understand that that report might have been false. But now there's news that, yes, he's been eliminated. Does this degrade the activities of insurgents, ISIS, Islam, Boko Haram, all of them? What impact will this have, the elimination of this one individual? We understand that he's one of the top commanders, but how much impact will this have on their activities?
My fear here is that these guys are going to retaliate, and our Nigerian military may not be able to contain them. That is my fear. When such things happen, it always goes with a price. You cannot take down such a man, and his people will be looking at you. No.
So would you have preferred that we don't take him down at all?
No. The thing is that the lies behind it, Moses, the lies behind it, it way too much. Remember Shekau? Shekau died 5 times. The Nigerian military was telling, we have killed the guy. In fact, we brought his prayer mat. We brought his Quran. Just make it what it look like childish play. That is not how the military operates. There is nothing they have told us that you and I can go to back with this military.
But does it make a difference? Does it make a difference?
Look, in a situation like the truth is very, very vital. Yeah. So that the people will know where you're going and where you're coming from. That is the very important thing. You say we should give you information. With information, when you told us that you have killed somebody, even if I see him on the road, I say, but this man, they say that you, so what's that from? I will keep quiet. Okay. All because of your lies. If America did not come out today, we don't even go near where the man is.
Sorry, Mr. Gomo, there's a direct question Moses asked. Now that question is, you think that they are going to retaliate because Minaki has been killed?
Oh, normally.
Okay. So now the question is, would it have been better that he wasn't killed? That's the direct question.
The thing is that we should be ready. That's what I'm telling the military now. They should guide their loin, because all those days they were killing some top commander. We saw the reaction of the ragtag followers. There is no way this man death will go unretaliated. It's not possible. They are going to retaliate. So they should guide their loin now because of what is going to follow. That is just the truth. Remember when Osama bin Laden was taken down in Pakistan? One of the reasons why they took him into a river with an iron chain or iron coffin, so that nobody will go and start doing a pilgrimage where they buried him and all that. And that will now raise some sentiment. So when things like this happen, you should take care of the things that will be fallout. There is always a fallout. That's what I'm saying here.
All right then. Oh well, let's go to Frank Hiroshi. Frank, good morning to you. We'd like to establish communication with you. So do unmute your device so we can get your audio feed. Are we connected to Frank? Do we have Frank on the line? All right then. Well, let's bring this back to Lawal Ekundayo. Now, let me ask you, Lawal. Let me ask you the same question. How much impact will this have? The death of this one individual. We've seen in time past that a Boko Haram an ISIS or ISIL leader is taken out, but it doesn't exactly degrade their ranks because they come on stronger. What would you expect? How would you expect government to follow through?
Thank you very much. One thing is that when you take down the head, it's easier to handle the body. That's why they go for the head, because there's always a command from top down, and then the head is always well protected. So the moment you take him down, the others feel scattered and they feel afraid. But one thing is this: it's good as what they have done, taking the head down. But the problem we have in this country is this. See, these terrorists, they are different types in Nigeria. Okay. There are some that are working with IS and this one. Okay. They have the ideology. They are the global one. We have those who use it as some kind of business. So they are pockets. They are the one they form pockets. That's why you see a abduction here. They take them into the bush. They are paid ransom. They release them, they go back. So those are pockets of bandits like hotel around. Those who do it as a business. So in collaboration with some people in the government and then some religious leaders and whatever. Then we have the other side, in which the bandits are some kind of they are protecting mining sites for some multinational, people. So they keep them in that area so as to suppress the people and then be able to use them. That's why when you take this one down, and then you go round. Okay,
I'm sorry to butt in at this moment. There's a problem we have. It's a complex situation. You say, well, it is good that they have taken down, this second in command, because when you strike the sheep, but the shepherd more like the sheep that we have seen United States and the IDF usually defend for take out Nasrallah, the Hezbollah commander, Hamas commander, Qasim, in Iran, the IRG, Iran Republican Guard Corps commander, and all of that. They don't necessarily degrade them. So that is the question we are asking. Direct question. Do you think that taking out minority, is going to solve the problem? Because America seems to be gloating. Oh, we have killed him second in command. We thought he could hide in Africa, but he has no hiding place. How much impact would that make in the war on terror? That is the question.
Security, that's why they call it security. Security doesn't necessarily mean every time. I mean, it doesn't only mean you go after and kill somebody. Intelligence, cut across. You kill, you look for the people you kill, and the intelligence continue. Because it's like chain command. You have chain command, senior in command, second in senior in command, third in senior in command, and so why you all these examples you gave, the reason why you see them is because the country itself, is not taking action to do follow-up when leaders of terrorists are taking that.
So do you think, are we going to take action to do follow-up?
That is the problem we are having. That's why I keep saying that we have problems. That's why I analyze those things for you, different types. Now, Nigerian government seems not to be proactive in taking care of the security of the internal country. That's what we are seeing. When you cut, for example, let me ask you a question. I won't ask you a question. Let me just analyze this. Where are they getting weapons from? You should ask. We don't make weapons in Nigeria now, but they have weapons. This weapons is coming from international country. Now, before you bring it, you have to pass through other countries to get to that place. Now, some people are aiding them to be able to get those weapons. Now, the ones inside, many of them cannot even speak English. But they have these weapons, they can use them. They are being trained by some international terrorists. If they are not being trained, you will not see them acting like terrorists because they will not be able to use all these weapons. But some people are training them who come from outside to come into the country and train them. The weapons they are getting it internationally. Some syndicates who are aiding these terrorists are bringing it in. So what they are doing is that if you cut those ones off, then internally your own structure.
Okay, we need to get other guys to have the same. But my takeaway from what you have said is that the problem of insecurity is a global thing because the way that you don't kill Nasrallah and then decapitate or reduce the power of
No, that's what I'm
Hezbollah,
saying.
excuse me, and reduce the power of Hezbollah, and if you kill the IRO, Iran Republican Guard, the commander and all of that, you have not necessarily reduced their power because of the internal problems in the country. That might take away from their position.
Sabotage.
So the problems in Nigeria, in Iran, in Hamas, Palestine, Lebanon, they are all the same in terms of managing insecurity.
All right then. Thank you very much. Let's go back. Let's go back to Frank Ayosha now. Frank, good morning to you.
Talking earlier, I heard you quite. I don't know why you couldn't hear me then.
Oh, unfortunately, we couldn't hear you then. But good to have you on the show, Frank. Now, if you have a question I asked earlier, I'd like you to react to the question and also have another to add to it. Now, what happens after military success if governance does not improve? To make the two.
I can't recall the first question. Very quiet.
Okay, well, just go ahead and react to this. What happens to if what happens to after military success? What happens to governance if governance is not improved?
No, but it's I could have said the answer is in the question, but it's not too obvious. It's hidden in the sense that if governance does not improve, we are not just back to square one. We are probably back to a worse point than where we were from the outset. That is the truth. Because the superstructure that superintends over every sphere of our affairs as a nation or as a collective is government. So where that superstructure is defective, where it has frames that aren't properly put in place, whatever it is that goes on will only amount to temporary relief because the defects in the superstructure will ensure that things get worse. Just to refer to what your co-anchor affirmed just now, that seems to excuse the failure and obvious incapacity of the Nigerian government when they try to generalize, say that insecurity is a global thing, insecurity is an international thing. That is unfortunately not the case. Ghana is right here. Ghana has access to some of the countries that they say these terrorists or boats come from. How come in the past 17 years that Nigeria has been grappling with terrorism, banditry, and all whatnot? You never hear of one or such cases in Ghana. Egypt is right there. In North Africa, where Nigeria government should give us excuse that because of the strike in Libya, that is why Nigeria is being at it. As if countries that share borders that are like Libya, how come insecurity did not affect them? Nigeria that is so far away. Insecurity finds expression where
this guy has just spoken my mind. This guy has just spoken my mind. You know, I used to say it every time. They will give an excuse. Global problem. Insecurity is global problem. They will tell you, oh, terrorists come from Libya. They come. And I ask them, Nigeria is not even the next neighbor to Libya. Nigeria is not next neighbor to Libya. Egypt has a common boundary with Libya. Niger has a common boundary with Libya. Mali and not the rest of them they are the one that have immediate common boundary with Libya. Tunisia have a common boundary with Libya. Algeria has a common boundary with Libya. Nigeria has no common boundary with Libya. Nigeria has no immediate boundary. You have to go from Niger to Mali before you get to Nigeria. So how is it that they found comfort in Nigeria? Look at Ghana. Look at Ghana. Why didn't they go to Ghana? So this guy had just spoken my mind. That's what I used to ask them every time. Global problem. Oh, they give excuse of this. The terrorists own Nigeria. Sultan of Sokoto is a terrorist. Sultan of Sokoto is a terrorist. Ottoman Danfodio brought terrorism in Nigeria, established it, and built a caliphate. And this is where they are safe. If you go to the Sokoto Caliphate, you will see them there being accommodated and kept safe. but they don't want to talk. They prefer to blame international community. They prefer to blame terrorism is a global thing. Mad people everywhere. Thank you for speaking about that topic because that is what I believe.
You have spaces that are ungoverned. Nigeria is a place for insecurity because there is so much ungoverned. Why so many of places, so much ungoverned space? Because government in Nigeria is incompetent. The primary purpose of clearly stated in our constitution. Same provision in the 1979 constitution, replicated in the same section in 1999 constitution as amended. That the primary purpose of government is the security and the welfare of the people. So, giving the excuse that security is an international thing,
I'm sorry, excuse me,
Nigerian government is civilly responsible.
Mr. Frank, I need to correct one wrong impression I have here. I don't have an opinion on this show, and so I didn't make an excuse. My take was based on, as a matter of fact, I was asking a rhetorical question based on the take of the guest here. The guest here said, if you decapitate the leadership, you probably.
I agree with you.
Okay, I'm happy that we're on the same page now. So
yeah,
I
was trying to tackle. Yes, not your opinion. It was just as in an inference. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the excuse that Nigeria for so long a time. Because they tend to, under Buhari, public officials will come and say insecurity is an international problem. They put the blame on other places. I heard Buhari speak with reference to Libya as the president of Nigeria. That's why I make reference to the fact that countries in North Africa, East Africa, in those places where they say the stuff came from, they are in charge of their territory and there is no insecurity. It's Nigeria that is so far away that is now becoming the landing spot. You see, this issue right now, how come the number 2 man of ISIS in the world is not a convenient place to stay? For the number 2 man of ISIS to peacefully reside in Nigeria, does that not tell us that we're already very close to the case?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
See, let me tell you
for
something.
number 2 to reside in Nigeria.
The government has never been really serious with tackling insecurity in this fourth republic. If you look at our history of tackling insecurity from the First Republic to the Second Republic, you see where government was serious and you see the immediate. It doesn't even take long before you see the fact that government was in charge. The Nigerian government has been playing some really game, which is the only time that there was a semblance of a proper fight against insecurity in this fourth republic, it was under Goodluck Jonathan. And Goodluck Jonathan did not take the fight serious until his office was at stake because the election was by the corner. Is it not amazing? Under Jonathan, who presented over Nigerian affairs for about 6 years, and even him, as I was in charge, said that in his government there was Boko Haram. He said it. It's in the public domain. But they postponed the election by just 6 weeks. And in 6 weeks, they took over a fence that were in Boko Haram hands. In less than 6 weeks. So because there was a threat to his office that he may not be re-elected, those of it were threatened. Boko Haram was defeated. He employed the services of some South African mercenaries, some Ukrainian mercenaries, and in 6 weeks, Boko Haram was put where they belong. I am telling you right now, Nigeria government is playing hanky-panky. They are playing games with this issue. That is why Nigeria right now seems to be the headquarters of all this crazy stuff that we are not bearing with a functional nation state.
All right, thank you very much, Frank Ahiosho. Let's bring Yakubu Ali Umaru into the conversation. Yakubu, good morning to you. We understand that you're resident in Borno State. Now, let's talk about the safe school corridor. 42 school children abducted. I mean, it's not the first. We've had multiple abduction of school children in different parts of the country. But the focus now is on Borno State. How would you say that the safe school corridor is a failure where children are not even protected in their schools? And, this continued abduction, will pupils be willing to go back to school, seeing that this has continued to happen? And how are parents taking it? Did you hear me? All right, we seem to have a network glitch there. Unfortunately, would have loved to hear from Yakubu Ali Umaru, as he is the coordinator, Middle Belt Generation Next Borno State social and political commentator. He's right there in Borno State. But let's bring this back to the studio now. Barrister Darlington, now, does it bother you that first, this information about the death of Al-Mulki came from Donald Trump on Friday, and we hear that the attack, the operation happened, early hours of Saturday morning, and then was on Saturday. The president of Nigeria commented on the matter. Does that bother you in a way that we heard it first?
No, it doesn't, because over time, it is America that has always been telling us about some victories over the terrorists.
What does that say about intelligence, sharing?
We don't have
Should we be hearing from America as...
I said we don't have any. In fact, America does not trust us. If the Nigerian securities have been in the know of this operation, it wouldn't have happened. Somehow.
What do you mean by
Sorry?
they were in the know?
Sorry?
What do you mean by if they had been in the know?
Yes,
this was in conjunction with the military in Nigeria.
Forget that thing. They only played the second figure after the deed has been done. Because America knows...
But that's not the intelligence that we have, actually. Let's work with the information.
Who gave the intelligence?
Trump. He said in cooperation with the Nigerian military.
The cooperation is limited now. You could have been in the background while something is going on in the front.
But at least you were there.
Look, when it comes to intelligence, I don't think we have any. If we have any, that man wouldn't have been in Borno for many years before Americans come. What are you telling me? If we have intelligence, how come we didn't know about him? That they lied to us. They lied to us that they killed this man. There is no defense here. Why did they lie to us in the first place? It does not bother you. Until America did what they did and they now own up. Why they didn't own up is because they can't hide it again. It came from America.
The president spokesperson, Bayo Onanuga, said, well, this is not it's not happenstance that it happens in all parts of the world. He cited like 2 or 3 instances where America itself thought that someone, a terrorist leader, had been killed, and it turned out to be a hoax and all of that.
These are the things that makes me wonder. You see, this government, they like to cash in on minor issues. So all the other victories that America has been making, like Osama bin Laden and co, why didn't you talk about it? Can you just imagine? You lied to the whole country, you lied about Shekau, you are lying about, and you are trying to defend it, for God's sake. What kind of it doesn't happen in other, and so at the end of the day, what happened to those people? Were they not taken down? No, were they not taken down? In your own case, terrorists have been under your nose here, under your nose, eating and dining with you. We are not even talking of Toby Bello. Why can't Bayo Onanuga come and defend Toby Bello too? Why can't he come and defend it and tell us what he's doing here, a Nigerian? Let him come and tell us what the man is doing here with all he has done so far. This man emissaries was sent to him in this country, emissaries, to go and talk to him and beg him. And when those emissaries were going back, he said, take some of this weapon. I don't need them. Or you go and give your government. And then take some of the kidnapped victims. Take them, this one, they are not useful to me. And they went back. Can you imagine an insult? What time do Bayo Onanuga talk about that one?
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Agumo. Mr. Ekunayo, America seems to have done something big, by taking out the second in command, Minoaki. So should we praise the cooperation with the United States of America? And mind you, we also have cooperation with Britain. We have with Turkey. We have with France. One we have with China also. More like 5 collaborations, with Europe and the US and even China. So should we praise the efforts of this collaboration? Are we beginning to see something, good that is happening within the security sector? Should it give us hope that maybe with these collaborations we might just be able to fight insecurity and clear the night that has been with us in the past few days? Is there hope rising?
Yes. I think yes. We should praise the Americans. Because all these other people
this guy is a fool. You are a clown.
There are so many illegal Chinese miners in Nigeria.
You don't even understand the question.
Security. You've seen them so many times. You even see them jailed for illegal mining, and they will know that many of these terrorists or bandits, cyber security for all this illegal mining. So we should praise them. Out of all these people you have mentioned, which one of them has actually spoken about our problem in Nigeria, and which one of them have actually taken the decisive action to help us? China is our biggest international trade partner, and what do we get from this? So we need to praise them, and for you to take the head of IS down, that means that it is easier to get the others, because the head is the most protected, and then they're able to. It's a message to Nigeria that this thing is something that can be wiped out or taken down to the minimum, that it will never be a problem in this country if we are proactive. Okay. Because they've taken the head. So it's easier to take down the smaller ones. Look at this abduction.
But we understand that insurgents, they have cells. So the question I asked earlier, does taking a head really, deplete their activities? Because they have cells.
Because as a matter of fact, when you take out the head, and another illegal will emerge.
They are like hydra headed.
What I'm telling you is this. It is easier to take down the younger officers than the top head. For you to use intelligence and take out the younger, that means it's easier to wipe out that chain of command. So what I'm saying is that if America can do this thing for us, it's easier for Nigerian government to take out the pockets. Okay. Because now they are in our country, they are sharing intelligence with us, they are working with Nigeria. So what else? Look at this abduction, look at this Oyo abduction. Look at the way it happens so easily in the daytime, during school hours. So easily. You want to tell me there are no military barracks around?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Gomo, before we let you go, Gumi has reacted, Sheikh Gumi. Typical of him, he said, well, America is interested in our mineral resources, and that they are not necessarily coming to help us, to fight insecurity. So how do you react to that? Sheikh, look, I would have loved to meet this man one-on-one so that we debate this thing. The way this man is supporting this terrorism, it baffles me seriously. Americans that did this thing now, even in his own country where he directed his people to go to, what have they done for us? Why can't the Sheikh Gumi talk sense for once? What he's saying is obvious, he's supporting these people. There's no two ways about it. All his body language, all his statements, all his actions show that Sheikh Gumi is, in fact, he is in bed with these terrorists. What can he say that America is not? Which men are that? Please, have anybody named America in any mining site or illegal mine in Nigeria? Donald Trump can never indulge in such a thing. He will tell you, face to face what he wants. And if you want, he will do. When he wanted to go and settle a matter in DR Congo, he told them that yes, for my effort, this is what you are going to give me. And they agreed. So America, I've not seen an American doing illegal mining in Nigeria. It can never happen. They will tell you face to face what they want because for their own help. Since you cannot help yourself. So let Gumi stop selling this wrong narrative. Instead of him to even talk of his brothers, his friends that are terrorizing Nigeria. He will never talk about it. As for that same thing you are talking about, what's it? The same school thing, the money for that project has been eaten. Or were you not aware that they are probing the money for that same school? Somebody ate that money. So how can they continue? When the money budgeted for sales school is not being proved?
Thank you very much.
There are things that we don't want to say, seriously.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Darlington. We'll have to let you go now, but let's quickly run to Borno State, where we have Yakubu Ali Umaru. Well, I expect that the network will be a lot better for us to have this conversation. Now, the question I asked earlier, which is what the barrister here just reacted to, the Safe School Corridor Initiative to protect students in their schools. Would you say, how would you rate it, really, seeing that just 42 have been abducted again, 42 pupils have been abducted right after, an insurgent leader was taken out?
Hello. Can you hear me? Now,
Yes. Go ahead, please.
All right. Yeah, thank you for being part of this show. It was just unfortunate that this incident happened. This is the second time such an incident is happening in Borno State. It happened on the very good morning of Friday. Children went to school. Then this unknown government, as they used to say, came to adopt the students from the school. It was unfortunate that what really happened was that the incident happened before the children normally gather for their official assembly in the morning. What happened was that they went to school earlier, more especially for those ones that really don't want to stay late at home. They went to the school earlier. It was just some few minutes past 6 when the children were in the school. Then those guys came in for the adoption of the children. When they came, they did not shoot gun, or practically they actually came to adopt the children, and it was unfortunate that it was only one elderly man who was present at the school premises. The children ran to him, crying, and they told the elderly man that please, this place or either will shoot you to death. And it's unfortunate that among the children, there are those of 3 years, 4 years.
I was just going to ask the average age of the children, but 3-year-olds. 3-year-olds.
Yes, 3 years. There are those who are 3 years, 5 years, and the adoption was even more than 42 the number. But this happens that about 100. Some of them ran away, and so the ones that...
How were they taken away? Are you privy to that information of how they were taken away? Were they taken away in buses, motorcycle, or just led into the bush?
No, they actually came with their truck, so they tried to push the children into it. The military were there, they tried to make an attempt. But the perpetrators actually used the children as a shield, so the military...
Sorry, let's get that clear. Sorry, when they came, you're saying that the military confronted them. Is that information you're giving us now? Were they confronted by the military?
It's actually it was on their way going with the children. That was when the military got the information. So as the military were trying to follow up, they now tried to use the children. Was how they went in with the children.
Have they reached out to the local government or the government or the families to ask for ransom? Have they reached out?
No, there is any information with that for now.
Have you heard anything about the welfare of the children? Is there any information about the welfare of the children? Okay.
They relevant. So up to now, there's not any relevant information for now. All the parents, the whole local government is confused. Parents are still waiting. And with that, there was actually a compilation of names from the various parents who have not seen their children. And that was even confirmed that the adopted children who were taken are 42 in number.
Okay, so if I understand you clearly, the initial adoption was way more than 42, but a few of them ran away.
Yes.
And the government of Borno State in terms of trying to rescue or reach out to the abductors? What are they saying?
In the morning, the local government chairman went to the community. So the community is just 20 kilometers away from the main headquarters of the local government. The local government chairman went there and actually consult with the parents and told them that the government is doing everything possible to see how they can rescue. The senator, Southern Borno, has spoken about it, that the military should intense their search to ensure that they rescue these children.
but the state government is also doing its best, but there is no any official statement from the state government for now.
All right, Yakubu, thanks for joining us. I appreciate when your picture jumped on the screen. I was like, okay, this is supposed to be Governor Baba Gana Zulu, striking resemblance with the governor, and that's what I observed. Anyway, by the way, I'm a bit bothered because a lot of Nigerians, especially down south, have the impression that your state governor Baba Gana Zulu seems to be doing very well, in terms of one trying to fight insecurity to the best of his abilities, and in terms of providing infrastructure for Borno State. But it looks like he's overwhelmed because at every turn, despite his efforts, Borno State is always on news for the wrong reason. And which reason is that? What reason is that? Kidnapped, killed, insecurity. Some time ago, and I was late last year, the sheriff of Borno cried out and said, well, Borno State has apparently been enveloped by insecurity. I want you to tell us directly, do you think that the government is doing enough, but is not getting enough support from the federal government? What seems to be the problem in Borno State regarding insecurity? Because it looks like it's the worst hit in the Northeast.
Yeah, to be honest with you, the state governor is doing his very best to ensure that the security challenge is being put in place. But this is not as a single institution work. It has to be in collaboration with the federal government, international community, but for the state governor, is doing very well. And there is no any incident that has happened that the state governor has not visited the place to condole with the family. Sometimes even let's say when an intense security attack is been there, the state government will go there, spend the night with the people in the community. He has been doing that over and over again. But these are something that one cannot really explain the source or the genesis of this problem. But he's doing his best to see that all this issue of insecurity has been tackled within the state. All through his 7 years in office, he has been doing wonderfully. Job infrastructure, people's development, and all other things. He's doing his best to see that Borno State has come back. But we just hope that things will get better.
All right, we hope things will get better. That's the hope of a lot of Nigerians as well. But let me go back to Frank Ehioshu. Frank, are you still with us? Can you hear me? Well, we still have Frank on the line. Frank, yes. Now, Frank, let's talk about.
I can hear you very well.
Let's talk about financing for these terrorist groups. Record has it that between June 2024 to about July 2025, a space of 1 year, insurgents in Nigeria made about $1.67 million from abductions, kidnappings, and the rest. Ransom payment, that is $1.67 million. About that amount was taken. And of course, this is money they use in procuring arms and the rest of them. Then we still have more abductions taking place, and we know that for some of these abductions, government, well, some will say government pays ransom to these individuals to ensure that the abductees are not harmed. And you also heard the testimony of Yakubu Umaru there. The military confronted the abductors, but unfortunately, they used the children. Check out their ages: 5 years, 3 years. And of course, they used the children as a shield to get away. What would you want government to do differently? And how do you react to all of this?
If I talk about this story, I feel so ashamed for my people. So damn ashamed. Even the narrative put forward by the guy in Borno State concerning the soldiers excuse. I would imagine that the world at large is watching this discourse and hear this info in a functional country. God, man.
What would you have expected? Would you have expected confrontation at that time, seeing that the children were, used as a shield? Would you have expected head-on confrontation?
Who is talking about head-on confrontation? A truck is driving without being a security expert, without even any modicum of critical thinking. I can put not one, not two, not three initiatives that should be followed up. You don't confront them. Are they not taking a road? What does it take to ensure that you create blockades across some point? You need to use some stuff to barricade the road. If the road is barricaded and the truck cannot drive, they carry the keys on them and be running. You initiate into great state. Why? Simon that God can. I don't. Listen to these things, and you say that what government gives excuse over this country. Our children in primary schools and secondary schools will resolve these issues without too much without resort to critical thinking. But it's just a show of shame. That is the truth. That estimate given in terms of the money these guys have gotten in the past 2 years, I can tell you without party and lying that it is extremely underestimated. If the estimate you are giving as what they possibly got in a month or two, they may be with $1 million. $1 billion. When we know that in some cases, just in 2 or 3 kidnap cases, up to $1 billion. Then they now say that in 2 years, the estimate is unnecessarily conservative. It is extremely underestimated from the little access it would make. Just even printed in the media. You know that I can tell you free of charge. So many of the kidnapping cases that take place don't get to the media front. It has become so normal that most of them are not reported. I know so many cases of kidnap, not 5, not 10, not 20, that never made it even to real social media hype, and much less the print or electronic media. So that estimate is extremely behind the approximate money they could have made within that time frame. That is the truth.
Well, thank you very much, Frank.
Going back to, just to make a point on the issue of if the head is it to get the subordinates, the members. You see, Nigerian government deals with this issue the way they deal with government seriously. These guys are far more disciplined than Nigerian government. I can even tell you, without disrespecting military, that they are more disciplined than the Nigerian army. Nigerian army is not. I'm saying they're indisciplined. They're already impacted by the culture of indiscipline that the government has made a culture. The guys are driven ideological. So if you like, you kill hundreds of them without having a major, as a train that is moving, that keeps them in check and deals with them with some dead blow. Nothing will happen. Let me give you an instance. During the time of Shakarao, when Boko Haram ambushed and killed about 20 or so Chadian soldiers, for the first time, I was wondering, how come it doesn't happen with Nigeria? Boko Haram was begging the late Chadian president not to come and attack them. Boko Haram were afraid and waiting to. But in Nigeria, they kill our soldiers, they kill our people as if nothing is happening. You know, in fact, after killing them, they post about it. That the great parties are talking about in the studio just now. We read the papers. That a traffic transport business. We pay big, for. Yeah. Because they're showing ego. This when you do the market is very but they don't have the audacity to deal with people that make a mess of the country.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Frank. Gentlemen, let's move on to another conversation now. We're talking about politics, and let's bring it down to politics. APC primaries, claims of manipulation and violence. That with videos that trended yesterday, trended on Saturday, yes, from the primaries held across the nation. Let's talk about this when we come back from this break. Stay with us.
My fellow Biafrans, you have heard it all. Sometimes these people, we allow them to exhaust themselves, push their propaganda and blackmail, and swallow their shame by themselves. You see how disgraceful Nigeria is. A disgraced country. Trump called them a disgraced country, and they are crying and shouting. And you can see it's confirmed. It's a shame. Whatever happens, we must continue to ask for our freedom. I appreciate everyone that have been with us this evening. Tomorrow morning, we will continue from where we stopped. Join us tomorrow morning on another exclusive section. It is going to be powerful tomorrow. Don't fail to join us. If you have not shared this program, share it, like, and also comment. Invite others to join. See you tomorrow by the grace of Chukwu. I appreciate every one of you. May Chukwu guide and protect all of you. Guide and protect our leaders. Thank you and good night, everybody. Good night.
We need peace, we choose freedom. We need peace, we choose freedom. There was a nation living in peace and unity. Yeah. They are people with love and harmony. Oh, yeah. They saw greatness rise up to its purity. With another people of different culture, a different heritage, bias and oppressive. Oh, I see. A nation from trigger of Africa, rising with strength and might and power. In due time, nobody gonna oppress us. Rather, you all gonna embrace her. With your flag, with your flag, with your flag, with your flag. Oh, yeah. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home. Oh yeah, Biafra is our home. Oh, it's my home. Yeah, Biafra is our home.
I reminisce way back 1967. Death toll on the blood couldn't count them even. Mama screaming, child squealing, pops on the ground. 2.5 years, over 3 million's gone. Why? Cause we asked for our freedom, and we're going back to our sovereign kingdom. They shut us down when we cried, the world said nothing. Sitting back in the crib, watching our suffering. Should I talk about the planes dropping shells like rain? Suka had the first taste of a hero's blood. Abagana Zobunigwe was stronger than flood, but the joke is too strong and fought them off on the chart. Thought the bloodshed's gone, then it came again. 216 and the massacre, it started again. So bloody name, I couldn't cry tears. Blood dripping down my eyes, water in my veins. We died trying to fight the cause and we're trying to break him. It's our freedom, but the world was against us.
Wave your flag over Africa. Welcome people of Biafra. Wave your flag over all the world. See those people of Zion is here.
It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion. It is the nation that the Lord has chosen for the people of Zion.
We need peace, we choose freedom. choose freedom. Let the tears of our mothers who lost their children be heard. Let the blood of our heroes speak from now till forever. Let the whole wide world know Biafra is our home.